Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Another episode of TRIFLIX Cast. I'm Tristan Watkins. This is Ridge Harris, our guest of the day. So this is the show, if you're not familiar, where we try to bring on innovative, creative, entrepreneurial people trying to make a difference in their community or just trying to better themselves in a way. And with that being said, we have Ridge, a gentleman he's a lyricist, I would say. He's a poet. He is a Renaissance man, not only trying to practice the arts of music, but he's also trying to practice the arts of catering, chef work, just a master in the kitchen, and of both kitchens in a way. Beats and food. So thank you for coming on, Rich.
Hey, thanks for having me, bro. It's good to be here.
Good. I'm really glad because I've known you for a long time. We've always kind of bonded over music and just creative arts in general. So it's been kind of a long time coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
sure.
People maybe not familiar with you. What could you explain who you are? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing out here in the world?
So like you said, I'm Ridge Harris. You know what I'm saying? Musically, I go by Ridge of SOG.
What's SOG?
SOG is Servants of God.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was Son.
Mm-mm.
Man, I'm learning.
Yeah.
Servants. Servants of God.
Yeah. Well, I guess it is just servant now since it's just me. It started as a group.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much what it means, man. We go by, just the gospel, the truth, and we came up with the idea years ago.
Yeah.
And it just stuck.
Yeah.
So,
how long have you been doing music then?
Man, my whole life. But recently, I would say, when we did SOG and made that a thing, it was like 2015.
So about 5-ish years.
5-ish years. Yeah.
Was that about that? So originally, I mean, we'd known each other through school, but there was one time where we started doing a project together, and it was going to be a music video, which never got released. We just we put a pin on it. I think I might have the footage somewhere. So what that time frame, was that about 2015, 2016, right after you started?
That was about 2016, 2017.
2017. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So since then, you've had a lot of life changes. You go from being this single guy out here running streets and trying to make music, and now you got the family going on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Praise God for it, man.
Yeah, I know it's a good thing whenever you can finally find somebody to settle down with, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So how is as you're starting to like produce music, what was that journey like between that 2015? You said you may have had some friends with you trying to produce, to getting to where you are now. Like, what was that journey for music?
The journey was long and strenuous just because of a lot of hiccups. 2015, I lost my dad. 2016, I lost my mom and my grandpa.
All in just
very
probably
quick.
within 12 months apart of everything, right?
My parents were like half a year apart.
Yeah.
So with that, I did produce an album. I got an album out of it. Shout out to Brian Harris. He's the one who produced it. But it's been tough. It's been harder, but it's gotten easier since I've learned how to deal with grief and all that kind of thing. So
we've actually that's a topic I used to bring up a lot with guests, asking them how do you, whenever you're feeling down, whenever you have those negative emotions, what is the way that you deal with it, or the way that you found best or most healthy way of dealing with it? So I'm curious, for somebody that's gone through a lot in a short period of time and trying to get through that, have you found any healthy ways of handling that stress or that, I don't know, whatever sad feelings you're getting in those moments?
Yeah, man, meditation. Dude, that's the biggest thing I would offer anybody is meditation. Like, for me, I like to sit out in my car in the backyard. And I'll light a cigar or whatever. I might have a drink with me, but I don't let it drown me. I just listen to music and I pray, and I sincerely, like, as if God was with me. Like I'm just talking it out, like trying to understand it. I also journal. Journaling has helped my penmanship, literally. Yeah. So, I mean, that helps a lot, so meditation, journaling, prayer, those are the biggest things. And then having your fellowship of brothers around you. Yeah. So, I mean, you can have sisters too, but as a male, that's difficult. So you gotta set healthy boundaries. And I agree. Sometimes
you should stay with likewise mentors and all that. Try to find people to connect with. But yeah, that's pretty neat. Whenever you're talking about, like, basically, are you trying to say like reflecting, like trying to process all that and everything?
Yeah, man, dude, I'm a processor. Like, I have to, even when I speak, man, like, I'll think about it before it comes out.
Yeah.
And it's the same way when things have happened to me or I've gone through certain experiences. Like, I gotta process it, because if I don't, I'll lash out. And when my dad died, I lashed out. Like, it was different, but it prepared me for my mom's death. So I didn't do the same things that I did, and I didn't indulge myself in things that wouldn't suffice. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Right on. So since then, you've had a couple of jobs, and you've jumped around, trying to figure out what it is that you want to do in life. And now you're currently doing GM work for food in the food industry, I'd say. What has been your experience of, like, as you're growing up and you're learning how to handle your emotions? I know, like, as a male, sometimes you don't have to worry about that. That's not a guy thing, but you're starting to learn how to handle that. What does your career looked like in that timeline of that 2015 era to 2020, that 5-year span of going through jobs and learning how to grow and evolve in that process?
Man, it's been a blessing, man. Honestly, like, when my parents got diagnosed with cancer, I left school and I quit my job.
School is in high school or college?
College.
And you were studying at that time?
Criminal justice, religion, and Spanish.
Okay, so you drop out criminal justice and Spanish. Great combination.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, like, I drop out, I quit my job, and I just take care of them, right? So then, after they pass, actually, one of the directors at Foundation for Youth came up to me and was like, "Yo, I'm interested in you to do this program, to teach this program to our young adolescent males at FFY."
Yeah.
So I was like, "All right, cool, bet. I'll go ahead and do it." Yeah. So, and that's been life-changing in and of itself, teaching the youth and teaching them traditions and chivalry and things that are important for young men to know.
Yeah. And so things that they may not be learning on their own or with their families.
Absolutely.
But then they get to come to this program, which is like a kids youth program where they come in and they take different courses, right? And then they get to meet you, and you're trying to share these. Now, were those things you were asked to come in and teach, or are those things that you as a man find important to share with them on top of what you're teaching them?
So I was asked to teach Passport to Manhood.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was asked to teach that. I created Heart of a Gentleman. And pretty much it's the same thing, except it's hands-on, and I teach a lot more gentleman-like qualities.
Dude, that's awesome. These are things that I actually didn't know, even off camera. Like, this is new to me. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's been a blessing, man. So that's the first gig that I got, like, after my mom passed in 2016. So I've done that since. I still do that. So with my main source of income, I have jumped around just looking and trying to understand what I actually want to do outside of school, because I don't desire really to go back.
Right.
So I became a care partner at a residential facility, we'll say. Yeah. For the elderly. Yeah. And I did that. Man. I got promoted to the kitchen. Became a cook.
So you were originally working with the patients, and then you went to the kitchen from there. Okay. Yeah, and promoted to a cook.
Same building, yeah. I was promoted to a cook, and then figured out that I loved, which I knew I loved to cook, but I didn't realize how much I actually loved it. And every time I would cook, it's like I get this glimpse of my mom, because she taught me how to cook from a very young age. So it was like how I stay connected to her in a way. So then I got promoted to sous chef, and then, I still have my good graces over there, and my boss, great boss, his tactics, the way he is a manager, that's the same tactics I use today. Yeah. So, you just treat everybody fairly, not too lenient, not their friend, but knowing having the balance between friend and boss. Yeah. So, but yeah, so man, as far as the money, which I don't really desire to talk about, but from
Right.
none to being able to provide.
Yeah,
So
and that's what's important, because a lot of times people get wrapped up in that chasing the dollar type of life or
yeah.
keeping up with the Joneses, but you found a way to meet your needs. And
Mhm.
then have you met your current, like your today, like your wife? Had you
Mhm.
met her at this point yet in time?
Before I was a care partner.
Mm-hmm.
I had just met her. So after my mom died in 2016, in July, I met Hannah in October.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we didn't really date or anything like that yet until late October
Mm-hmm.
and into November. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So you guys are hanging out then.
Mhm.
You do this job change. You're
Mhm.
starting to learn some managerial qualities, but also building up that connection with chef work. You know,
Mhm.
learning, getting back in the kitchen, right? Trying to, I don't know, what for you personally, when you said you had like that connection, of feeling
Mhm.
like you were like back in the kitchen with your mom. What
Mhm.
is does that still, do you still get that feeling when you're working?
Um, no, not with what I'm doing now,
Mm-hmm.
just because it's just management.
Okay.
So, I mean,
You're not actually preparing
no,
anymore.
not. I mean, to an extent, but it's food that's already been prepared. I'm just serving it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So, not as much, but I
Mm-hmm.
guess when I cook at home,
That's what I was wondering.
yeah, when I cook at home, yeah, I still feel it a little bit, man. And my wife, God bless her heart, she's learning how to cook and learning these things, and she,
What a nice way of saying it too.
yeah, yeah, man, she's great. Like she's learned a lot, man. And now,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's when you get married, it's just different, man. You don't know what people are actually capable of until you're living together.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
And when she would come to my house before when we were just dating, I was always cooking for her. So, now she cooks for me and,
Aw, that's great.
feeds my son, and I feed him too, but she's always with him.
Mm-hmm.
So, so she's a good wife. She's a good mom.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. So throughout this point in time, you're getting ready right after the caretaking
hmm
role, being a chef. You start to transition into working as the GM.
hmm
And then along that way, are you about to get married, or did you get married after you rotated into the next job?
I got married before I even knew I was going to get another job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Risky.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, I was comfortable there.
Okay, because you were at the point to provide. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was comfortable there, and my bosses were great. Well, my direct boss, the executive chef,
Mm-hmm.
he's really great, and then the executive over the entire building, she was nice. She was great. Um, I got to take 2 weeks off after I got married,
Mm-hmm.
and even before my son was born, I was still there. And as soon as she was going into labor, I was off for 2 weeks, so I was treated fairly over there.
Good.
So
Yeah. Yeah. So now that you're doing, I guess out of all of these, because I would try to frame this in a way that's more applicable to you. Out of all of these jobs that you've had, and let's say music is a career for you, out of
mhm.
all those, what has been your most favorite?
um, I love to cook, so of course the chefing thing,
Mm-hmm.
that's my favorite. But music is right up there.
Right.
Like I love music. I love making music. I love writing music. I love writing other music for other people.
Yeah.
I enjoy all that.
And it's
So
still like part of your day to day too. Like
absolutely,
it's not something you put on the back burner to do chef work.
yeah. No, it's I'm I'm still trying to find the balance of husband,
Mm-hmm.
father, and then work.
Yeah.
And trying to make sure that my priorities at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't done the best job at that. I'm only married for like a year.
Yeah, it's still
So
fresh.
it's still fresh. I'm still learning, but I'm trying to do my best to be better at that.
Mm-hmm.
But I still love to work. That's what I'm called to do, and I love to cook,
Mm-hmm.
and I love music.
Yeah.
So
So there's not a like the chef work is great, but as far as the favorites, like they're just all so up there right now.
yeah, they're just up there for me. I mean, I
Mhm.
love if I could make a career out of music, I would.
Right.
So
But if you could make a career out of being a dad,
yeah.
or a husband, like
hmm
if that paid the bills, that'd be great.
Yeah,
You
that'd
can
be
invest all
great.
your time in it, right?
I'm telling you. Yeah, man. I just want, my son, and if we ever have any more kids, to know that
Mm-hmm.
I worked hard, but I was also at home too,
Mm-hmm.
and that's most important to
That
me.
healthy balance.
Yeah,
Plus, your kids are like sponges too. I don't
yeah.
have a kid, but I'm still a kid. Like they're sponges, right? And they're gonna pick up whatever you're doing. So if they see like how you balance your work life and your home
Mhm.
life, they're gonna take that as a part of as what they're doing.
Mhm.
You know, so that's good that you're setting those examples. And plus, you have all this experience of working with kids at the at FFY and
Mhm.
teaching them to be gentlemen, right? And
Mhm.
those are things that you've already. All right, this is how I should interact with kids because you got years of experience with this,
Mhm.
and now you can apply that to somebody that's learning to talk, right?
Mhm. Absolutely, man. I'm telling you, like I made a lot of mistakes on the way,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, we all do.
yeah, man, absolutely. But the blessing of it is being able to tell my experiences and share my stories because
Mm-hmm.
I have millions to teach people. Hey, that's not the move. Don't do that.
Okay. What is the wildest story that you feel comfortable sharing publicly?
Oh man, do you have a subject?
Shoot. I'm sure, what's of interest to me? All right. In the kitchen. I feel like that's somewhat PG.
Oh man,
13.
yeah, that's PG.
In the kitchen. What's the wildest thing?
Well, when I was a kid, man, my mom was at work, and I must have stayed home sick or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Oh, I got you some McDonald's, so just go ahead and heat it up whenever you wake up and you get hungry. Blah blah. Blah. I'll be home at 3 from work."
Right.
So I go and heat it up. I get hungry. Blah blah. Blah. So I heat it up in the microwave. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I did not take the wrapper off of the sandwich when I heated it up, and I heated it up for like 10 minutes. So, long story short, it caught fire. And yeah, my parents weren't happy. So, that was when I was a kid in the kitchen.
that is a lessons learned that you can share to your kid.
Yeah.
But on top of that subject, it is, in my experience, very important that whenever you're raising your kids, don't just say don't do this. Like, it's so important to share those lessons and explain to them, because if you don't, you're basically teaching them it's good to learn from your lessons, but don't share them with others. And in your experience, like you're trying to share those to help people have better lives, and don't exempt your kids from that. I think it's really important to
man,
let them learn
it's
too.
a huge thing with teaching or even discipleship when you're helping other people in the faith or just in life. You know, it's hard for somebody to learn about God or to learn about the right things and the truth in life when they have no basis for it, especially if they're a completely unbeliever or whatever. So it's best to be relational with them and to be able to share stories, be transparent, be authentic with them, so they can say, hey, well, maybe I can share my life a little bit. And that's when truth happens and you clash, and then, you know, it's better.
And the cool part is your kid is a mini you for the most part. Like, you're never going to find someone more like you than the thing you made, right? The little tiny person, the mini me, right? So it's like, if you went through this, chances are they're going to go through it too in some way. So it's always cool whenever you can share those experiences with them.
Yeah, man, it's a blessing and a half, and I can't wait till he starts talking.
Shoot. Yeah, I'm pretty excited too. I haven't even met him. I mean, I've seen met him. I've seen him carry around like the baby stroller, but he's always asleep. So I actually haven't got to experience his human interactions, right? But I hear that's.
I'm sure cool. You will eventually at some point.
I hope so. I plan on being here for a while, so I'm excited to see him grow. All right. Well, let's do one more question real quick, and we'll jump into sponsors real quick. So, inspiration. As far as what got you into, it sounds like kitchen. You know, that was definitely your mom, and also a little bit of circumstance. But music wise, what got you so into poetry? You know, music, beats, writing, and all that.
Man, my mom was a singer.
She had a big influence on you. Like,
yeah,
that's
dude.
Awesome, man.
She was a singer, man, and my cousin actually, Devontae, he's also an artist, and he was really good, and I saw how talented he was, and I always did poetry since I was a kid, and that's pretty much how it started. For it to actually become a thing after the group, I talked to some other people and recorded some songs, but it wasn't really until I met DJ Clever.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Clever. It wasn't Johnson.
Yeah, it wasn't until I met him to where it snapped, something clicked, and like it works. I mean, he's one of the most talented and rappers I've ever heard. You know, as freestylers I've ever heard. Like he's just really good, and I was like, man, I gotta be like that. I gotta be like that. And then when he left,
he went off to do his own thing for music. Right?
Yeah, like I can't remember where he went, the state. But whenever he left, I came home and I wrote a song called Mixed Emotions. And that's when I like really found my sound. Like it was just different from everything that I've done. But he taught me about engineering, music engineering, having an ear. You know, he influenced me a lot to be able to do it on my own. So shout out to him. Like I'm thankful for that. You know, he helped a lot. Yeah. But as far as music in and of itself, like I've always loved music. It helps me throughout the day. And now when I'm hearing music, I can hear certain things that I like and certain sounds and where they might have messed up or what they could have done better.
It ruins pop music for you.
Yeah, I can't listen to pop music.
Not anymore.
No, man.
Yeah, it's like once you have a taste for something or you become expert in it in a way, it stands out to you. So like for me, it's cinema. I can watch something, I'm like, why would they do that? Or that shot, man. And it's such like it's something so big like Marvel. It's like, well, who am I to critique it? Because it's amazing at the same time. But then whenever you can do that with music or I assume food too, you can't go out to a restaurant with saying, all right, who's the chef?
Yeah, man, no. Yeah, my wife's got on to me a couple times about that. Like I'll just look at the menu. I'm like, oh, I've made that. And then I'll order something that I've made. Yeah. And it's just send it back.
Can I talk to the chef? Hey, buddy. Are you out of salt? Where's the seasoning? Is there no herbs?
Bro, it'd be like that. But I try not to be too much of a stickler, man, because everybody has their off days, and you never know, you know. So
plus, I mean, if they have a set menu and they're making the same thing, and the menu hasn't changed in 3 years, like they're an artist, they're gonna get burnt out. They're gonna lose their passion for whatever it is they're doing, whether that be music. You know, pop songs the same 4 chords every one.
Yeah,
same. You got thrown in 808, or otherwise it won't be good. People just get burnt out, and sometimes you gotta give them a little grace there.
Yeah, man, I get burnt out on my own stuff sometimes, you know, and I just, even when I'm making music, I get burnt out if I'm using the same flow or if all the beats that I'm choosing from beat selection sounds the same. Like I've made a lot of songs that I haven't released that are just different.
Yeah, Rhyme Zone can only recommend so many words.
Yeah, bro. No, I'm not a huge fan, but I won't say that I've never used it. So.
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right, man. Well, on top of the subject of music, talking about things that we try not to get burned out on. I know we say it every episode, but I still love them. Hill Zion Records, based out of Nashville, Tennessee. They are one of the companies that allow us to continue making podcasts like this. They're here to support us. They're here to fund us. They're based out of Nashville, Tennessee, producing rap music, some R&B a little bit there. Truth, his real name, Taurus Hearns, good friend of mine. We've been working together, done some lyric videos, and he's going to be coming up soon to contract signing, getting some photo shoot done, maybe a concert. We're still working on some deals here, but overall, it's a great group of guys, great team, and they produce some really good music. So if you guys need something you want to listen to, it's a little more upbeat, and you can still listen to it with the kids in the car, I highly recommend them. We'll have links to them in the description below. If you're watching or listening, I guess, on Spotify, SoundCloud, I don't think we do SoundCloud, actually. It's Google Play actually has the most views for our Spotify or SoundCloud and all that stuff. It's crazy. iTunes, whatever you're listening to. I highly recommend YouTube. Come see the faces. Meet Ridge Harris. I think it adds a lot of value there.
Yeah, for sure.
And plus, I just enjoy when I watch podcasts. I prefer to go there instead of Spotify or anything. All right. Let's talk about evolution. So it sounds like you've had a lot of change. And we left off on working with Clever. Clever's impacted your style. Since that song, was it Mixed Emotions, right? What has your style evolved at all? Has it changed at all? Are you just the same guy from 2017?
No, it's changed, man. My vocabulary is profoundly expanded, you know, and just the range of music that I do has expanded.
Yeah, and probably journaling's helped a little bit with that too, I assume.
Man. And I got friends that do music too, so like we'll bounce ideas off of each other. And I got people that sing, like Darius, he sings. Yeah. Hunter, he sings. You know, I know people that sing, so now I'm trying to sing and get my voice, get the range out there a little bit. you know.
Yeah, there's a Aha Gazelle. Do you follow him at all?
Uh-uh.
Okay, he has the one line where he's like, "She said she doesn't date rappers, so I had to go and sing." So sometimes you don't have that range. I know you do, so don't lie to me. But sometimes rappers don't have the range, and you gotta rely on that auto-tune. But it is good to diversify or find friends that are diverse and bring them in and change that style a little bit.
Yeah, man, it's helped a lot. It's helped a lot. Darius is wonderful singing. He's coached me a little bit on getting my vocals out and trying to give different tactics. And
what's your favorite trend right now in mainstream media?
Media,
like mainstream music.
Mainstream music, yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
You don't. There's nothing about anything coming out. Okay, I don't mean radio. I mean like anything charting top 100. Anything up in there that's like, oh, I like that. I want to adopt that. Is there anything out in the last 2 years that's come out that you're like, I haven't heard that before? It stood out to you.
It's mainstream. Chance's album.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Coloring Books or Big Day.
Coloring Book. Big Day was okay, but Coloring Book was really good. I mean, if you listen to 10 Day, and then Acid Rap,
yes,
and then Coloring Book, they're so different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Acid Rap was different for reasons, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah, man, we won't speak on that, but yeah, man, Coloring Book was dope. Like how the gospel centeredness of it, and then all the melodies in it, and he really showed how far he could actually reach.
Oh yeah.
I mean, by himself.
Yeah. No, he has a really it's raspy because he smoked a lot when he was younger, but his voice is just so unique. I was really impressed whenever he started, like, not only bars, of course, every time. He's a really good lyricist, but he was actually able to hit some notes that I didn't expect with him. I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, man, he can. Man, I've heard him on 10 Day. I could hear some of his tracks that weren't engineered as well. So I was hearing some of his singing. It's like, wow, he actually has a decent voice. Like almost like a choir voice, like those choir boys.
Dude, that's my favorite trend right now.
Really?
Dude, I've loved it since I think Chance started it, but Chance is close with Kanye, and Kanye adopted it. I would be hard pressed to believe Kanye started this movement, but he does have 808s. Either way, I love the choirs right now. That is, it's a trend, and I don't want it to die. And I love it whenever rappers did it. I think, what was it, like 6-7 years ago, they were doing dubstep and rap together. I thought that was cool, or dubstep and choir at the same time. I thought that was neat. And now we're like starting to bring choir into rap, and it's something I haven't heard of before. In the last 3 years, it started to pop off a little more.
Yeah, and CHH, they did it quite a bit.
Yeah,
it's Christian hip hop, so of course,
wave makers, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, like Lecrae, he would do it a lot. Andy did it some.
Yeah. KB definitely does.
KB, absolutely.
Dude, KB, like, When the Saints. Dude, that whole song is crazy. Like, it's not just him and like one other rapper. Like, he has background vocals all over the place of other artists, of choirs. It's insane.
Yeah, man. Or dude, he's extremely talented. For 116, I would say, like, bar for bar, lyrics, bar for bar, he's the best rapper, I think. Yeah. But he's not the best songwriter. For me, it would be Andy.
Yep.
He's the best songwriter.
Well, I mean, he's also one of the only singers, I would say, on the whole record label.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, man. Lecrae tries, but...
Nah, dude. Andy's definitely... So every year, when you get the Spotify playback and it tells you what's been popping for you, it's every year the most played is KB. By far. I don't know. Just everything he puts out sounds like it's radio ready.
Really?
In my opinion. Yeah. But I don't know.
I respect your opinion.
Thanks, man. We have differences when it comes to music, but I'm glad that's one that isn't too far out left field.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Andy, like, we're going right now. I'm going through Spotify and setting up a wedding playlist because wedding's coming up in like 65 days or so. Time this comes out, it'll be
Congrats,
less.
By the way.
Thanks, man. I every once in a while I'll get people like, they'll warn you about marriage, but most people I've met, it's like, oh no, it's a great thing.
Yeah, I won't do that to you.
I hope not. No, I'm really we're both looking forward to it. But like I was saying, right now we're going through Spotify, and I'm just trying to put together a selection of music, and like just so much of it, I didn't realize how. I mean, you got Big Day by Chance the Rapper, so that's pulling in a little bit of wedding music there, just something upbeat, a little fun, and then Andy Menio. He has so many songs about his wife that I wasn't aware of, or at the time his fiance transitioning into wife when he released the music. And it's like a lot of it's heartfelt and a lot of it's deeper than just that superficial, like, are we in love, we get married. It's like, I'm struggling, and like whether it be with family things or with the relationship, but like that heart of, we're gonna commit and we're gonna work through it. And even on my bad days, she's there for me. Even on her bad days, I'm there for her. And it's like, I don't know. I really love how deep he goes into his artistry.
Yeah, man. I would say his older music is a lot more transparent.
It definitely
than it is now.
Yeah, was it Sea Light back in the day?
Sea Light. Yeah, man. His Heroes for Sale is incredible.
That's where most of my music's been coming from, actually.
Yeah, Heroes for Sales. Yeah. Oh, man. That's a great album. And then Neverland was really good.
Yes. I just went through both of those albums in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. Like, Neverland's probably my favorite one, I would have to say. But the concept for Heroes was good. Yeah. Really good.
Is it Neverland? That's the one where he talks about like being on the train and like seeing other people, and he's like, what's going on? And he's like questioning his heart and his motives. He's going through.
Oh, no, that's Heroes.
Is that Heroes?
Yeah. It's called Superhuman.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I listened to it, but apparently you know it better than I do. But yeah, no, like his music is just so transparent about how he feels about his family life. And that's been something, maybe it's less transparent now, but it's definitely been consistent throughout all of his albums. Like, if you've listened to him in the row, you know how his relationship with his dad is, with his mom, with his sister even. What was where was the one with all the music video?
That was on Uncomfortable.
Yeah, dude, that was insane.
Yeah, I can't remember this. Here's My Heart, maybe, or something like that.
So for people that may have not seen this, I definitely recommend it. Andy Mineo, his sister is deaf, but she's not blind. She can see, and she has he released this song for his sister, and she can feel the vibrations of the music and see this video. And in the video, there's all these shapes and images, and they're moving and matching to the beat and the rhythm of the song. And it's just really neat, because he said when he played this for her, she started crying because that was the first time she could experience the true beauty of music. Now, I mean, I'm sure there's other points in her life where she was at least able to feel it or recognize it, but to her, that was such a big moment. And it was just so cool, because no one's ever done that before, as far as I'm aware.
It was dope, man. And he did some sign language in it too.
Yeah, he did.
And I remember in some of his songs, he was talking about how he just didn't pick it up, just because he didn't want to. Yeah. And how it's just that video alone, it was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? It affected like just one person, and it being his sibling.
Yeah. Well, it didn't affect just one person. In like looking back at it now, like there's so many people. I have a friend that she teaches, well, I don't know if she teaches exactly, but she learned ASL, and she works with kids that have hearing impairments. I'm not trying to be too PC, but I honestly don't know all the words I'm supposed to say now. And long story short, she was explaining how meaningful this song was to a lot of the students, because this was the first time they even experienced it. So even though it was for his sister, it was super meaningful and heartfelt. There's so many people out there that maybe for the first time were able to experience the true beauty of music in a way, something a lot of us may be taken for granted on a daily basis.
Yeah, man. And that's so powerful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know some rappers now have like a person that does sign language at their shows.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that?
Oh yeah. It was the one where the rapper goes up next to the girl's sign language and they start like bouncing to it. Yeah. I can't think of who that was.
I don't remember, but he was rapping pretty fast. And she was just,
dude, she was
all over the place.
It was insane.
It was cool.
I might want to pull that up if we can. It was pretty cool. If we find that, throw that up over this conversation real quick. Learning. Yeah, I think we're going to be coming to an end here soon, so let's go through some rapid questions. Learning. What's been the biggest, most helpful thing for you, whether it be mentors or reading books, taking that time alone to meditate? I know you mentioned meditate quite a bit, but learning, whether that be music or what it takes to be a man, in your own words, like how has that been for you?
Man, I would say the biggest influences in my life, outside of my parents, would have to be Anthony Blair.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool. Actually, the first time I met Anthony, you guys were hanging out together.
Yeah, man.
So how's Anthony for people that may want to grow like you, like what has Anthony offered you in your life that has helped you develop so well?
Man, when I first came to the faith, I was going through a moving situation, and I came to the faith, so I just didn't want to be around certain people, blah, blah, whatever.
Yeah,
so
setting up boundaries.
Yeah. So we're about to go to Puerto Rico for a mission trip. And then Anthony told me to think about it, but I could live with him. So think about it over the trip. When I come back, make a decision. So I decided to live with him. That's actually in his old house, in his backyard, is where we came up with SOG, the idea. Not me and him, but, me and Greg or whatever. So he just has taught me about choice making and decision making and the truth, and along with all these other different concepts that I learned about Christianity per se, but allowing me to be okay with being me and having an authentic faith and actually knowing what that looks like and what that actually is. And it was the first time I actually ever seen it. Luke Erb, he's another person I would throw up there.
Yeah, I'd throw him up there too.
Yeah, they're like-minded, man, when it comes to certain theology and stuff like that.
Really? I never knew that.
Yeah, they're pretty like-minded in certain areas. So, I'll throw Luke up there. He's helped me a lot. He counseled me, did premarital counseling for me, still does counseling for me.
He did our premarital too. Do you think he would be somebody that people could learn from then?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think it'd be worth having him on the podcast?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've been trying to talk him into it for a while, him and Budnick both. We got Budnick on the week before you after quite a bit of coercing, but he was finally able to find some time. So next up, we need to add Luke Erb, and actually we already have Anthony Blair on our, I guess, order of things. I think he might be up next week because I think we got Ryan for the following. So
yeah, they're both very wise brothers.
Oh yeah,
and I'm in communication with them both.
Yeah, they read a lot, that's for sure.
Yeah, and that's one thing I learned is to always seek out more information. So I just read a couple books, and I'm going through First Enoch right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like there's just a lot, man, and we're doing a discipleship thing right now, and there's just a lot. Yeah, so it's actually helping my mind, and it allows me to be priest, prophet of my house.
Yeah, you talking Enoch as in the Bible Enoch, or the book of Enoch? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so like Enoch from the Bible, but it's his book.
Yeah. Okay, so I've actually talked to Luke about that, and I know we said rapid fire questions. So like the book of Enoch, I'm going to talk more about this off camera, but like the validity of books that aren't incorporated in our Protestant Bible. Like we have X amount of books, and there's some that are out, and whether or not certain books are valid and whether or not they bring value. Of course, Luke Erb's a man of, we'll read it and evaluate it, type of thing. So, I'd love to talk more about that off camera.
Yeah, for sure.
And if we have Luke on here, I'll bring it up first thing.
Yeah, man. Well, I actually have his copy. So, yeah, but he bought it, and I was like, "Hey, bro, let me
let me cop that."
Yeah, bro. So.
Misunderstandings. Do you have any misconceptions people have about you? Or what you do?
I'm sure that there are, but I'm not really concerned about it.
I like that.
I'm sure there are. Like, no, I'm not perfect. Yep. Yes, I make mistakes. Yes, I've done bad things, but praise God that I'm here now and I'm doing my best to be the best that I can be.
Yeah. Dude,
so
I like that. That's the best. I'll be honest. That's the best answer I've heard whenever I ask people that question.
Yeah, man. It's like, why waste your time caring about? They're sleeping at night. Why care?
Yeah.
So I don't.
Yeah. If you have a problem with somebody, confront them and bring it up, because they may not even know it bothered them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So advice. Give me a cute quote. What's the biggest piece of advice that has helped you grow?
I don't got any cute quotes, but
what you got then?
The biggest advice, I guess, for life in and of itself, is to know God. Yeah. That's the best thing I could tell anybody, because without him, nothing is possible. You got to have him.
You got to have something to ground you.
Yeah, something to ground you, a basis for truth in the scriptures is that basis. Yeah. For life. For music, I guess just do it. Yeah. Like if you think that you got something, just do it. You never know until you do it.
And that applies to cooking too, right?
Yeah, applies to cooking. Yeah. Just try it. You burn something up, hey.
Yeah. So I try to study quite a bit. Like, I really enjoy cooking, and one of the things that I've learned is a lot of people don't have a good sense of taste, myself included. And one of the things they talk about is like, until you learn how to taste properly, you're not going to be adequate in the kitchen. Like, you should still try stuff and go out, but definitely try to find a way to practice like the palate. Because if your guide, in a way, if your palate isn't good, if your guide isn't good, it's going to lead you in wrong directions. You're like, I need more salt. It's like, no, you don't. You need seasoning. You need some herbs. You need something in there. So I mean, that's my 2 cents, but I'm not a chef.
Yeah, man. No, I completely agree with that, dude. Like, if you are a picky eater, it's going to be hard for you to be a chef. If you can't taste, if you don't know what good food actually is, it's going to be hard to be a chef. Yeah. So the easiest thing I would tell people if they wanted to cook is, learn all the basics, have your basic, your knife skills, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And when it comes to actually food, eat everything. Try your best to eat a bunch of different foods culturally. Yeah. Try authentic Hispanic food, authentic Japanese food, authentic Chinese food. Just try all these realms of food, and it'll help your palate because they put a lot of different things that we're not accustomed to in America. So
there's so much more flavor too.
Yeah, man. I mean, oh man, I love authentic.
Not to hate on American food, but I mean, most of the food we have, we just copied from other places anyway.
Absolutely.
We're melting pot. Stuff comes in, but you don't realize some herbs, seasoning, fruits, other things that we don't have here are even available, what they taste like and how they mix well. I just learned recently that you can put a lemon in so many different things, and like the flavor that brings, like we just put lemon on fish here, but it's like, no, you can use that for a ton of other stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
So there's just so many creative ways to encompass different cultures and bring that together and make something delicious.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Yeah. A lot of that.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, that we didn't even get to talk about catering. All right, let's we talked about goals. I don't know, you want to share catering, anything like that? Talk about your future, what your goal is, or
my future goal is to cater one day to own my own restaurant. Yeah, I'll name it Lisa's after my mom. So
dude, that's all. Oh, man, yeah. I'm still learning.
Yeah, so that's what I dream to do. But I really do want to cater. I want to get my name out there.
Yeah. All right. If you guys liked Ridge today and you think you might want to try his food, and maybe let us know in the comments. Let him say, hey, I want to try Lisa's, something like that. Let him know that there's a need for it. People around here would definitely love it. I don't know if you'd want to open it in Columbus, but yeah, I think that's awesome. And where would people leave that? Other than on this video, where can people find you? Where can people come hang out, learn from you?
Yeah, man, at SOG Music. That's pretty much my tag, my handle. @ SOG Music, 2 C's at the end.
Okay. So we'll have links in the description below for anything Keed called out today. Again, shout out to Clever Johnson, shout out to Luke Herb, shout out to Anthony Blair. Get them all in there. Overall, man, it's been a great talk. I love having you on here. I love anytime we get to hang out because the talks are usually pretty deep.
Yeah, bro, for sure.
For people, stuck it out, we really appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to share it, pass it around with friends. If you know anybody that you think might be similar to Ridge here, or other people we've had on the show, creative, innovative entrepreneurs, people trying to make a change, difference in the community, people trying to better themselves, let us know. Pass them on to us. We'd love to have them. TRIFLIX.com, send them our way. As well as if you're a sponsor or you're interested in one-time sponsorships, we would love to shout you out, even if it's a silent sponsorship. And it would really help us continue producing these. We got a pretty nice studio here, and we'd like to keep that quality.
Yeah, I feel that.
Well, thanks, Rich. I really appreciate you coming on, man.
I appreciate you, dog.
Yeah, have a good one, man.
You too.
Bye.